When the light stops turning and the birds start swarming. What do you think that means for those tasked to keep it burning? That wasn't intentional poetry, but it just sort of came out that way. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Lightkeeper. Another horror game from developer Dark Phobia Games, and this is a studio I have a bit of a mixed history with. They're the creators of games I'd played in the past, like Homeless, Amenti, and The Graveyard Shift. And they've all kinda been the same story. Gorgeous looking games, nice sound design and atmosphere, and quite a few jump scares along the way that actually do tend to get me more than other games. However, with a story that seems almost incoherent, definitely a lot of bought and reused assets, as well as a questionable tendency to use AI assets and not declare them on Steam. They've had controversies in the past, especially with this one, over the use of AI assets in their banner art and potentially in-game, and this was probably the biggest example of that because apparently when it came out, it was accused of having really bad sounding AI voice acting. And we missed that because 2 days later, 2 days after the game came out, they said, "We hear you, we've replaced all AI voices with human performances," which either they're lying or that's true, and they could have just done that very easily from the beginning. On the one hand, I want to give this developer the benefit of the doubt because, even in spite of their flaws, I have generally enjoyed their previous experiences. I mean, they do feel like there's real effort put into them, even if they do use some generative assets. But at the same time, I also think they're being somewhat dishonest about this. In the patch notes where they claim to have removed the AI voices, again 2 days after release, they say, "We weren't aware of the issues of AI in gaming," and I don't believe them. That's been one of the big criticisms of their last 3 games, was using AI assets and not declaring them the way you're supposed to on Steam. But like a fish to the flame, I found myself drawn to this lighthouse. After all, it's a concept that I find so intriguing. It's a job that is a nightmare for most, and a dream for a few. So of course, couple that with the isolation, and there's gotta be some romanticism to it, right? Maybe we'll get here and find out that we don't fall into the camp we thought we did. Let's give it a try. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. Plato. August 21st, 1925, Southern Icelandic waters.
I came here for the work. Thought distance would drown the past. I was wrong. The ones who came before me, their faces said more than words ever could. There was something about the island that didn't sit right with me. And some things you can't unfeel.
So here we are, and well, as expected for an Unreal game, this looks gorgeous. They nailed the atmosphere. A lonely tower sitting on the hill, the foggy skies in the background. But I want to say, I loved that intro. That was absolutely fantastic. The changing of the guard with the old lighthouse keepers. It's strange enough that we're coming here alone, and well, it looks like one of them was brought to the brink of insanity, and the other only barely more together. just looks worried for us. Like, are you sure you want to do this? Oh, look, and if we look out there, we can actually see them leaving, fading into the distance, our last human contact for months. At least from first impressions, this has nailed the atmosphere, and, well, hopefully it continues that way. I mean, we're trying to get away from something, we said it ourselves, and the thing about a job like this is that we could anticipate any manner of Lovecraftian horrors crawling out of the sea while we're all alone, but well, in this profession, the real horror is what we bring with us. And it sounds like we brought quite a bit with us. Let's see what's around. No related item in the inventory, so I guess this is like a workbench? So maybe we'll actually be able to open this up if we find like a crowbar or something. I think it's a good idea to explore and get an idea for the very few elements that we'll be familiarizing ourselves with. Well, welcome to the Lighthouse Resort. What you see is what you get. Let's head on up there. Constant blaring of that horn. But it looks like the light isn't burning, so we'll probably want to get that going ASAP. It's an essential job, you know? We're sitting here, the guardian of people we'll never meet. But if we're not here, well, disasters can happen one after the other. From the way that first scene was directed, it definitely seems like they're taking more than a few pages from the lighthouse. But of course, how can they not? I'm just thankful to be away from the cacophony of the waves crashing against the shore. It was deafening from down there. And then we've got our own well, which is useful. And I'm guessing we probably came with rations of food, right? I mean, that ship probably dropped off a stockpile of non-perishables. Here we are. Now, what is this here? Ah, an anvil. Well, I guess we've got to be self-reliant. It's very strange, though, for us to be left here alone. I mean, is that something that we specifically requested? I also think it's fitting, but somewhat rare for a horror game to actually have us playing as an older protagonist. I mean, it absolutely works here. We have to be somebody who's seen some things, who looks like they've been tossed around by life. Somebody who would want to come out here and live a life of solitude. Of course, the older we are, the more psychological past harm we can bring with us, right? But anyway, we should probably get indoors. And what is that down there? There's something beneath that twisted tree. Wow, this terrain feels so familiar, by the way. I feel like every piece of Lighthouse media uses this particular island. Three graves beneath a twisted tree. I mean, look, teams of people alone out here for months at a time, it only makes sense that not everybody survives to the end of their shift, but I mean, they're still here. They're still here, and we've got no one. There's a dead seagull on top of this grave. We don't know what happened, but it's bad luck to kill a seabird, isn't it? Well, if that's not an omen, I don't know what is. Oh, hey. I found our outhouse. And it's porcelain, too. So, I guess between the 1800s and the early 20s, accommodations were upgraded somewhat? Look, I'm trying to be a glass half full kind of guy. I really can't start on the doom and gloom this early. Anyway, let's find our way indoors. I can hear the clack of our shoes on the wooden floors. I'm honestly sitting here just looking around going like, wow, so this is my life now, huh? Hang on, is that UI? I can open this. But not without a key or something to cut the lock with. Here's our dining quarters. But once more, nothing to open this chest with. Wow, we really were not given the tools. Okay, first I need to put my belongings inside the room. Now, that would be on this side because it would be separate from the tower by this hallway, right? Here we are, a bed laid out for two. Emphasizing our loneliness every time we come up here. It seems these keepers were here at some point, and now are dead. Well, there's 3 of them in 3 graves, so I imagine that's probably the read I'm meant to take from this, but I mean, it seems kind of weird that you would just assume that they're dead if they're not here anymore. Wait. That's cool and all, but we've got a haunted gramophone. I mean, don't you need a record or something? Any movement from you at all? Like, the handle's not even turned. A compass. Well, maybe the last keeper forgot it here. Well, we did see them leave. What else have we got? Some stacks of papers, newspapers. Some matches. Potentially very useful. And some real ominous art adorning the walls. Well, we can use this to get a fire going. I mean, just imagine how cold and drenched we must be from the sea air. That's the thing, it's a job where you come out here thinking, you know what, I don't like people, I like my solitude. Maybe this'll be cozy, and to a certain personality, maybe that's true, but once you find out, there's no going back, at least not for a while. The light unveils the truth. Just printed over the cover. Photograph from the days of war. My only photograph from the war. When I served as a commander in the Observer Squad, 1917. The same year they laid the burden of a grave mistake upon me. A mistake that struck down our men. Yet I escaped it, cleared my name, and left the blame buried where it fell. So maybe you called in an artillery strike that resulted in a friendly fire incident? Sounds like you've got some survivor's guilt brought with you. Personal match. Matches and memories fade, but the glow remains. And a classic pipe. Looks like every keeper has one. Certainly does. At this point, it's part of the aesthetic. And our keeper's cap, which I could have sworn we were wearing, but maybe we have a spare. Anyway, that's all that done. But it's too early to sleep. It's getting dark. I should turn on the light. Well, I'm pretty sure the light's meant to be lit at all times, isn't it? I mean, after all, you can be just as blind in the fog as in the night. Well, let's make our first walk up the stairs. No wonder there was so much inspiration behind the lighthouse. I mean, every single image, every angle you could look at this place from. Ugh. Tripped up the stairs, really? Just feels so unnatural. Like something otherworldly all its own, and so outside human experience. This is not something we evolved to do. I mean, it must feel like some kind of eternal punishment to the people tasked with doing this with no other company, right? I actually don't know if historically anyone would have done this solo. Well, unless something happens to the partner, which is not without precedent, famously. Okay, match is not compatible. Oh no. I'll have to refill the tank. I think I made this mistake when I played No One Lives Under the Lighthouse. We came all the way up, and now we've got to go all the way back down. There's our can. And presumably that's full. It sounded like it was full. Thankfully this doesn't seem to be too terrible of a walk. A light not too tall. Of course, that's relatively speaking. So let's put in the oil can. And get this going. For the first time of many, this aisle signals our presence on it. Maybe signaling our presence to the outside world is the best way to stay sane. Just knowing that others know we're here. But from out here, we always have a reminder of those who came before. Alright, so now what? Sunset is near. I'd better switch off the foghorn. You know, I'm wondering to what extent I should leave this uncut. Because it seems to me a big part of hammering in the isolation is the mundanity of the tasks. All it is sitting here doing something that much later would be entirely automated, and knowing that we've not much to do. Okay, that's just the bed loading in. I thought I saw something go around the corner. Hey, what's this? A flashlight. For now, it's of no use to me, but I can't get through dark nights on the island without it. Well, it may not be useful right now, but what if it gets dark on the way back? But anyways, as I was saying, I really like that this is a more contemplative experience so far. I mean, it's really up to you whether you see this as beautiful or terrifying. And there's nothing wrong with seeing it as both simultaneously. Let's see what's here. Interesting to me that the locks are on the outside of these doors. Okay, how do I stop this? No. Let me out, please. How do I stop it? Ah, right here. Man, how did these guys leave with this in this state? Easy peasy. When we arrived, the light was dark, the horn was blaring. It sort of feels like we've set things right to an extent, and I guess we'll have to take pride in our work in that, for what it's worth. What's going on over there? They're swarming. Okay, let's go check it out. I'm honestly not sure how much of this to leave in and how much to cut. The back and forth, I mean. Because it so far seems, in a good way, that this game is very contemplative, that we're meant to just have our thoughts to ourselves as we go from point A to point B. Everything feels like a chore. But that's the nature of the job. Everything feels so drawn out. Simultaneously, like, everything is going so quickly and so excruciatingly slowly. And once more we find that dead seabird. Was I not supposed to come here before? Well, don't have it spawn here. So, that's why the birds are crying out. That wasn't there a moment ago. Come on. You know, it's strange. I turn around and I see that light lit, and for a second, I get the impression that it's someone else here making their presence known to the world. Like seeing a silhouette in the window of your own home when you get home. Is there something on the rocks over there? Hang on. I can't quite see it, but there's something on it that doesn't look like rocks. Maybe it's just a weirdly shaped formation, but it almost looks like a lantern or something. Okay, we're gonna be able to get back up. Thank you. Alright, what's our task? This key. Maybe the last guard left it for me. I need to find out what it unlocks. Well, I suppose a simple curious mystery is about all we have around here. There are a couple of chests with keys on them, so maybe we start with those? We also haven't been downstairs in the tower to the storage. Look, we can see it getting darker. It's cozy in its way, it is. It's in that weird spot where at the same time it feels so foreign and so much like home. Not here. Perhaps here in the Keeper's chest. There we are. Something they wanted us to know. To the next Keeper. I'm leaving this note because there are things about this island you won't be told. If you knew them, you'd never agree to stay here. Back in 1912, 3 men were stationed at this lighthouse: Jonathan, William, and Victor. They were all experienced, reliable, and in good health when they arrived. 2 weeks later, when the relief boat came, everything had gone wrong. Only 2 weeks. The light was out, the rooms were a mess, furniture broken, windows smashed. The strangest part was that the men were gone. Not a single body was found. Only bloodstains, torn clothing, and signs that they went through something terrible before they disappeared. Take this as a warning. This place is not as quiet as it looks. Beneath the lighthouse stands a cellar, locked and long forsaken. They say no man should enter it, and perhaps that is true. Yet I know what lies within. Shadows, whispers, remnants of those who came before us. It was Father Abraham who dared to break the silence. In the dust of that hidden chamber, he uncovered signs mark that spoke of no natural fate. He was certain the 3 missing men had been claimed by sea devils. For days he labored, placing holy symbols across the island, hoping to drive the creatures away. But his prayers found no mercy. The men never returned. Their bodies were never found. And still Abraham swore he felt the presence of the drowned ones, their wailing cries twisting through the wind like broken glass. Remember this: the 3 crosses by the withered tree are not graves. No earth holds their remains. Abraham placed them only as a token, a warning, a memory of what the sea itself chose to swallow. This is appropriately creepy and superstitious. And a heck of a thing to start our, I guess, only 2 weeks with. So maybe it's not so bad? A haunting photograph. Father Abraham stands before the lighthouse, raising a large cross high into the storm. He seems to be forcing back unseen demons, as if the very tower itself had become cursed. The image carries a sense of dread, like a desperate attempt to hold back something overwhelming. This is our life now. I guess we play some solo Jenga? The long sea journey has drained me. Tonight I should rest early. Okay, but... well, before we do anything, I'm gonna do a little bit of exploring, and I'm gonna make sure all these doors are shut behind us, huh? So this is the storage. And this is the sealed cellar. Of course, there's no key at the moment, and we don't want it. I wonder what it is about the cellar in particular that required it to be blessed, at least according to Father Abraham. I guess let's turn in. Whoa. I must say, this definitely has a lot more restraint, feels a lot more, not narratively, but tonally rich than previous entries by this developer. I mean, these cutscenes really go a long way, making our character actually expressive and not just the camera. And hey, it looks like even here, sometimes day does break. Maybe I was worried for nothing. But even still, it seems like it's just omen after omen around here. And well, an old war veteran and now someone who makes his living on the sea, well, I imagine we're quite superstitious. So what are my tasks for the day? Sun is rising, I should turn the light off. Let's get over there. I mean, I feel like the job of Lighthouse Keeper is essentially the original Voices of the Void. Eventually, you learn all there is to know about conducting your repetitive tasks and everything around it. Did you just hear something, or was that just me stepping? I'm not sure, but anyway. You could come to enjoy it, or you could find it quite awful. Let's put a stop to this. suppose it's to conserve fuel, but even still... I guess it's limited effectiveness during the day. Still, whoa. It's like nature itself was like, hey, that light's pretty bright. You want to see mine? And honestly, yes I did. After last night, I kind of feel like I needed it. We could always go see what's on that other island. Okay, so the light is off. What's my next task? Can we climb up here? We can. Oh no. A dead bird. Its blood is dripping onto the lamp. Oh, it's all caught in the works, twisted and mangled, and... well, I guess that means the shadow of the blood was being projected through the night, depending on when it got here. You know, forget a superstitious sailor. I feel like this is the kind of thing that could make you superstitious. I need to clean the light. See, being a lighthouse keeper is like Voices of the Void before Voices of the Void. It's the kind of thing where, yeah, there is probably a certain beauty and satisfaction in the job, but well, also you see a lot of strange things that no one else is around to see. It's really a value judgment whether that's a good thing. Oh my god. Why is that sound coupled with that animation so satisfying? Alright, next objective. A thick fog is rolling in. I must activate the foghorn. Okay, well, we were able to enjoy the sunrise while it lasted. Just a little bit longer. Anyways, down we go. I knew something was up because when I walked back I saw that stain. Okay, but I think I am going to commit to actually showing most of the back and forth. I mean, I wonder, if you're a lighthouse keeper, do you eventually start running up and down, just trying to save as much time as possible, or do you think, you know what, I'm in no rush? You know, every once in a while I catch a glimpse of the light reflecting off of the water, and for just a second I think it's someone with a lantern. Maybe wishful thinking. This is nice. I mean, so far it's a slow burn. It gives us an eerie setting. And on top of all that, it gives us a ghost story, something which we can't really prove anything about, but, well, we were told it, and of course it's knocking around in our head. But it gives us the quiet moments, too. It gives us even the pretty moments. It shows us why someone would want to do this job. We gotta take the good with the bad. After all, that's what makes the whole experience. Let's get you going. No related item in the inventory, are you sure? Oh no, we lost everything. Thankfully, it's right here. I really love using all this old technology. But now we have a new task. The morning feels refreshing. I could use another cigarette in this open air. Those are up by our bed, right? Something just answered our call. And it came from the direction of the memorials. Hang on. Okay, we're being indicated to go this way. What was that? And once more, no one was around to hear it. What was that? Something I shouldn't have done, that's what it seems like. Again, the birds are restless. What's happening this time? Also, what kind of bird even was that? It didn't seem like a seagull. It seemed more like a crow. There they are, I guess leading us somewhere. That doesn't look good. Like something crawled out of the well. So there goes my drinking water. Yet another dead bird. There must be some meaning behind these deaths. It's the third one in 2 days. Someone up there? Look at you. I can make out the silhouette of your overcoat and your hat. There's definitely not going to be anyone up there when we arrive. And as always, I can't tell if those footsteps are my own or if there's maybe another set mixed in. All I know is I can practically feel the panic, my hand running along the railing, bounding over itself. There's a set of keys left behind. Come on. I must discover what this key belongs to. As before, it seems like somebody's trying to give us something. Like a... Huh. I'm impressed so far. This is a game that is dedicated to atmosphere and just being spooky. It's actually very unlike their previous entries. I mean, kind of games where a model bought from the asset store just appears in front of you and screams and disappears. This is something else. Okay, my first thought is to try this on... Hello? Am I seeing and hearing things already? Well, am I seeing and hearing these keys? God, no. Not again. I swore I'd never touch this poison again. I can't. Oh. So I guess you're an alcoholic who stopped. But there goes your oath. So this is me, a man who can't even keep his own promise. Hopeless. I love this because this is something that could be chalked up to coincidence. Those same seabirds that have seemingly been terrorizing you lead you right to the one thing you absolutely didn't want to see. And yet it makes sense for it to be here. I mean, this must feel like a personal punishment so far, right? Regardless of what's actually happening. Okay, what's our current task? Midnight is already passed and I still haven't turned on the light. This is horrible. It's only your second night and already you feel like you're failing. This is what I was hoping for from this, something more psychological, something more personal. And I really didn't think it would deliver, but so far it is. Alright, let's pour the oil. Getting a little bit on the sides there. And get it started. The fog is lifted. I should turn the foghorn off. I actually haven't heard it this whole time. I understand it might be kind of annoying if you could hear it indoors, but even still. You know, it really is a shame that this role was effectively eliminated before the age of video games, huh? I mean, with all the entertainment options available to us today... Thought that was the door latch opening. It's already past midnight, and yet it looks like sunset. Maybe it's sunrise, maybe it's way past midnight. Oh, it's just that post from before. I was concerned for a second. Alright, let's get down there. Look at this. There's a low fog that hangs close to the ground. Excuse me? That really startled me. It took a while for it to get going. Oh my, you absolutely gored yourself on the window somehow. I can't stand seeing these dead birds again and again. Seems like the rain is here. A rain I can practically feel on my hat and my coat. Oh! Oh my god! Am I meant to head back, or do I have to face you? No. I'm just gonna try running past. You're not here. Something's wrong with this island. It's not safe. I have to get out before it's too late. You've already given up? I must head to the radio room and contact the communication officer. This island is no longer safe. I'll be grateful it wasn't so long ago that you didn't even have that option. But, okay, we need to head down to the other island. Hey, could this stuff really not be within our own house? I have to say, as far as protagonists go, you're opting out fairly early. Oh my god! You just Alan Wake 2'd me. Are you kidding? Look, it sort of works in this context. We're seeing visions. We feel the weight of our failure and all those who came before upon us, but at the same time, that's a JPEG jump scare, and I'm counting it as such. Footprints. I mean, look. Once more, it makes sense. People came before us. That's a very heavy theme in this, but... I mean, this looks almost fresh. This does not seem like a reliable way to store this sensitive electronic equipment. Probably gonna have to start that generator. I mean, look at us. We're somewhat safe and insulated in this little cabin, but at the same time, we feel like we can't go back to our own house. Let's fill this with oil, which you would think would be a different fuel source than what the lantern uses. There's a winch here. What for? What does it go to? Are we able to do something? There we go. Naval Station, this is Arthur Lucian. Do you copy? Over. I hear you say. I can't stay here anymore. This island, something's wrong with it. Strange things keep happening. Get me out. I quit. What you're seeing isn't real. Isolation does things to the mind. You're imagining it. I understand how you feel, but you'll have to hold on for 5 more days. Then I'll send someone to relieve you. That's the best I can do. Now stop calling, do your duty, and don't bother me again. So that's that. We actually got the word out. They acknowledge our request, but there's just nothing they can do. Or nothing they will do. Willing to cut it short, but... well, we're definitely messing with these things. The birds are mourning again. What has happened now? With this radio going, it only feels like we're adding to the noise that's growing around us. Over there by the dock. This game is definitely big on its striking imagery, although the time of day / weather is a bit inconsistent. I kinda wish it would just commit to being dark and downpouring. like they're camping my exit. They know I'm trying to leave, and they're letting me know that. I thought I saw something. I thought I saw a light from here, but I wasn't sure whether to chalk it up to, like, reflections or the UI of the box in here. Not only is it a massacre, but I definitely didn't leave this here. Spanish Bible. And the skull of an unknown creature. Looks like some kind of monkey or baboon, maybe? The Keeper's mysterious note. I know they lied to us about the fate of the three. Beneath the lighthouse, in the cellar, they sealed. The truth still lingers untouched. They keep it from us, for they think ignorance is safer than knowledge. To them, our lives are worth nothing. Mere bodies chained to this cursed rock, worked like beasts until we break. If what devoured those three should come for us, they will not mourn. They will replace us as easily as a broken tool. Survival, then, must be ours alone. Well, the last two made it. Okay, the way your animation works is starting to become sorta goofy, flying away like the intro to a 90s educational video. So, now what? We've got that note. We know that we need to... You're not rocks. Oh, look at you, a bloated, washed-up corpse. What's this? There's many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're gigantic. 6, 7. They say 7's a lucky number. Oh, there may actually even be... There's more. There's way more down there. Let's go. Someone's messing with the light. You know, I'm not sure how I feel about the apparitions that we've seen. I mean, the silhouette on the tower, that was super creepy. But I can't help but feel that the jump scare, or the three standing there watching us, was a bit too much too early. Because I have really enjoyed the feeling that there are things just out of view the entire time. Those are wet, muddy footprints, like something dragged itself in from outside. Locked. And the lights are starting to flicker. I don't know what else to do. There doesn't seem to be anything new here. Nothing outside that I can see. I'm pretty sure the doors close on their own, so I'm not worried about that right now. I don't know what's happening. That's your only task. This door's still locked. Maybe I just turn it off. I really dreaded turning around right there. Oh my god. Without that light, it's gonna be a long 5 days. No. So now what? I really am just moving around in the dark. You were there physically. For just a moment, I could make out the texture of your jacket. You're going around. Still locked. There's a note here. There is no escape. As long as the light remains hidden on this island, the demons will not release you. They will gnaw at you, tear at you until nothing is left. Find the light. If you are pure, it will fade to silence. But if you bear the weight of sin, the light will burn brighter, until death comes so dreadful the gulls themselves will weep. Doesn't sound like we're pure, so you might have the wrong man for the job. I like the idea of this little island always having something wrong with it, this unassuming rock. But who knows why such places are chosen? Let me guess, you're still not gonna open? No? We're gonna find a waterlogged corpse in our bed? That would be the way. Oh my God! And what this gives us is doubt. We can't be sure that any of this is even really happening. We black out and we have these vivid nightmares. At the very least, it seems like everything is back in order. But time is passing. I must find out what's going on down in that basement. Wait. If we go back... No, the note is gone. I like this. I really, really like this. And my expectations were set so low, honestly, by previous games, you know, being enjoyable, but just kind of jump scare fests. But it definitely feels like there is real vision here, like real effort. Sure, it's derivative of certain other things, but it's still doing its own story. It's still telling it in its own way. And perhaps most importantly, it actually indulges in the setting. It feels like it's a story that can only work in this type of environment, and of course the environment itself is so nicely detailed and atmospheric. It doesn't just feel like a skin. It doesn't just feel like, okay, what's a topic we can do for a horror game? Yeah. You know, for just a moment I was like, I don't remember there being a door on either end. Is that what I think it is? Because it sort of looks like a dented World War I era helmet with a bullet hole passing through it. It looks like we actually are going further and further out over the edge. Well, can we go back? Oh, we actually can interact with it. You took lives from others. Not on purpose. Well, not the ones I was on purpose trying to take. It's getting darker and foggier. And more we're cradled over the sea. Feeling as if there's no solid ground beneath us. No related item in the inventory. Do we need to find something around? Locked in. Is there maybe something out there, like the nail that bird was perched on? Yes, right here. Careful reaching out. Need I wait for you to finish? I suppose a symbol of time relentlessly passing by. It's like I said earlier, things here so fast and yet so agonizingly slow. You wasted your life. Hey, come here and say that to my face, not online, and see what happens. And from this inverted angle, we can see the memorials. Of course. Listen to that. We get close and we can actually hear the difference between the window open and closed. That's a nice touch. Sorry, I know you're trying to make me atone for my sins, but I'm just appreciating how cool this is. This is still locked, but what can we interact with? It's not like there's a whole lot here. Now I wonder, had we counted all the bodies on the beach, would they be consistent with the number on the ceiling right now? You turned the truth upside down. Did we lie about our role in what happened? I can still hear the waves, but there's nothing but pitch black nothingness out there. Oh. I thought climbing the tower was a commute. Let's start by going down. There's that door, not quite as sealed as it was in the waking world. This is great because, I mean, how else do you destroy our sense of perception? We wake up from one nightmare and go immediately into the next after only a few moments of normalcy. Is there really something wrong with the island, or is this just us cracking up far quicker than expected? You hang tight down there. I've still got a job to do, and, well, that's all the reason I need not to do it. And besides, it seems like we've been sealed in ourselves. A tomb above ground. A tomb far above ground. Do you think you're pure? This light doesn't do very much for us, does it? On the way to a truth that's been right beneath our feet this entire time. I need the second lantern. If you find the second lantern, you might as well take it with you, bud. The door won't open without another lantern. I'll have to track it down. Look at all this dust catching in our light. This is definitely the most silent this game has yet been. It's a place that's inherently loud, and so when it quiets down, you notice. Down here wading through the dark, almost like we're exploring a sunken shipwreck. I need something to break this. It seems like this cellar tunnels into the rock this place is built upon. But then again, something tells me this isn't a true reflection of the dimensions of the cellar. There's a note over there if we can get through. But I'm still not finding what I'm looking for. No. No. So we do need something from over here. Ah, there we go, hiding under the boxes. And it doesn't seem like we can take an axe to these supports, which would probably be unwise to begin with. Oh my god! I'm not necessarily familiar with that piece, but was that meant to be Cain and Abel? Victor's note on William's killing. When old Jonathan realized the devil had crept into the island, we fled below, thinking we could hide. But this place only grew darker. That's 'cause it's a cellar, you idiot. Jonathan warned us. The devil still waits. We must not surrender. But William, he was already lost. Drunk, twisted, consumed. I could see the devil crawling inside him. He raised his hands against us, against Jonathan and me. He meant to kill us both. I stopped him. I had to. And yet he begged for forgiveness. I was blind with rage, with fear, with something I cannot name. I swung the axe. His head fell. I burned the body, hoping it would end the nightmare. It did nothing. Jonathan sees my act as surrender. He's right. My fury, my fear, it was the devil's will. I did not resist. My sin is no less than William's. I like how you just wrote I for that stammer in your written text, but even still, it seems like his sin is similar to our own. In this case, the alcoholism, the losing control. That's the devil. As far as the story is concerned, anyway. Oh, that door blended in so much. Well, we're back. I don't even want to push forward to see what that was. We've got what we need. So that's 2 of you. But what of the third? An open bird cage. We can squeeze through. I definitely don't trust the return trip. Not only are you gone, so too is the light that accompanied you. There's a key. Gimme. Victor's note for Jonathan. Jonathan, we've been trapped down here for over a week, and I can't bear it anymore. Every shadow, every whisper. The devil is here in every corner. William tried to kill us. He almost succeeded, and I'm the one who brought this terror upon us. I'm a fool. I surrendered too easily. I killed him. I thought it was protect us. I thought it would protect us, but all it did was confirm how weak I am. If William's death was justice for giving in, then mine must follow. I deserve it. I'm sorry to leave you here alone, but I cannot stay. Burn my body, Jonathan. Burn me. Cleanse this place of me, and the devil I carry within. There's a dead bird here as well. Seems like your sin is weakness. Same for everyone here. Apparently Jonathan had great faith in Jesus. I guess Jesus didn't have much faith in him. Now listen to that, the sound of water echoing in the depths below. At first, like from the other room, it sort of sounded like whispers. I do wonder, I like how we're this far in, and I'm still not sure how much of this is real. It's like watching a portrait fade away. That was really, really well done. That was a cool transition. It's better than what this developer used to do, where the model would just disappear in front of us. Religious photo. And a cross. Jonathan believed that this sacred symbol might protect him from the darkness ahead. Huh, it's a novelty nautical version. Neat. Nothing here, though. We can't see beyond the cave. I still don't know where this lantern is. Oh my god! God, that sounded like it was right in my ear. That sounded so real. Wait. Where even am I? I have still... Oh, right, the key. Another well. And more wet mud on the floor. Oh my god! Can I just say this game is doing fantastic things with its application of sound. It actually kind of reminded me just there of a particular scare from The Conjuring 2. It didn't even sound all distorted, it just sounded like a regular person's scream. But we've raised it. Took a little while to hear that splash. This room is totally symmetrical. Oh. He'll always snatch it just away from me. But we can't pull the chain anymore. Do we want to get closer to this well right now? As long as you flee from truth, the light will flee from you. Yet in the end, the light unveils the truth. Arthur. They know you my name. Okay, maybe I can still pick it up? Back in our bunker. We need to switch for the radio. Seeing something burst into flames right beside us, it sent us right back. But there must be a switch somewhere. Oh. By the way, I only noticed that because the UI kept popping up. Dearest Mother, how I miss the warmth of your kitchen, the smell of your cookies, and the sound of the children laughing in the yard. Out here it feels like another world, but I keep telling myself I'll come back, and everything will be just as it was. Soon I will walk through the door again, and will forget this war ever touched us. With all my love, your son. But you wouldn't let me live. You. I love the application of that poster because in this moment that call to action becomes an accusing finger. We can check every poster. Pushing through the propaganda, hoping to find what's underneath. Am I perhaps reading too far into it? Maybe, but I don't care. Now, granted, I could be wrong because they could look similar, but I do think it's kind of funny that there's, like, a Soviet-era gas mask, like, from the 60s or 70s here. But whatever, I'm sure they just searched for a gas mask asset and said, yeah, it seems about right. I've just realized that this helmet beside this bed is bloody. Ah, there we go. There's that handle. Yeah, I figured things would be different when I turned. Imagine what it must have done to us to have to use that such similar radio again. And once more, calling to be let out. Please, I want to go. But how do I... What more can I do?
Since I started keeping this light, it falls on the wrong places.
August 10th, 1918.
Observer 1, this is Iron Fist. I repeat, this is Iron Fist. We need enemy coordinates now. Observer 1, we don't have time. The planes took off. Send enemy coordinates now, over.
Copy that enemy position. 38 degrees southwest, under the lighthouse.
Arthur, what have you done? The coordinates were wrong. We hit our own men.
Okay, so first of all, I'm not entirely convinced we ditched all the AI voices. But also, this is really cool, combining the past with the present. Our old failure with our latest one. And I guess giving it the role of the Watcher, just like we were supposed to be. Looking out for others, being vigilant, that was to be our atonement. Instead, we've screwed it up all over again. Oh my god. It's like they're staring down at us, judging us. Civilians, children. This was their shelter. In a World War I trench, I'm not quite sure how historically accurate that is. And I'm not sure it's necessary to make your point. I mean, was doing this to your own troops, was that not enough guilt for you to bear?
This is a breaking report from the Western Front.
British forces have pushed back the enemy, forcing enemy troops to retreat. Key positions are now in our hands, and morale among our soldiers is high. This success marks a significant step forward in the ongoing campaign. More updates will follow as the situation develops.
Regardless of how true that is, you have to go home entirely differently. The ones who can never go back like we did may as well be lost to the sea. I messed up. I have to hide this. It was the Germans. You lied about it, somehow. Well, maybe you didn't lie about it officially, but I mean, at this time, at least that's what you could have told people, I suppose. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, because that's really weird if you actually somehow covered that up, since, you know, you're the one giving the coordinates, and that's it. I must find Jonathan. Finally, got you. Let's place our lantern and move on. We're never gonna forgive ourselves. We may as well see where this goes. I'm getting the impression we've actually been here for much longer than we think. Can't go this way. Look at that, we're still buried underground. It seemed at first like a respite, but no such luck. Where am I going then? Oh my god. The bottle was added to my inventory. Do I need to bring it somewhere? Oh my god. Their voice is so slow and distorted, I can't understand them. This fog is so dense it's like wading through water. Into the cellar. Staring directly into the lens, now moved underground, where it can be seen by no one but us. I mean, you're giving me the option to interact. Finally, you came, Arthur. Stay down. I can smell the devil clinging to you. We have dialogue options. Where's the light? We thought we could bury hell itself. We hide it beneath the only tree. Next morning, the tree was dead, and this island, every breath, every shadow turned into condemnation. Are you still here? You've been down here all this time? Time doesn't matter here. Alive or dead, our souls rot in this pit. The devil won't release us. Not while the light is buried. What happened to the other two? They prayed, then they stopped. They lost hope. And when hope dies, the devil takes his due. Of course, their deaths weren't the end. They rose again as his children, and now another soul has joined them. Have I given in to the devil as well? Then it's true. I've given in. The bottle's in the cupboard. The devil left them for me, didn't he? No. You carried that with you. Before this island, before the light. Your sins carved a darker beast than any devil. There's no running from it. What are you saying? You are the thing you fear, Arthur. The very shadow that feeds this island. It's you who brought death upon the birds. It's you who keeps the devil smiling. And now the devil is here. Closer and closer still. That's what I thought. He was right. The truth never changes. Facing, surrendering, escaping. We've got 3 potential endings here. But look, if guilt wasn't enough of a motivator, how about spite? You thought you wouldn't be able to do it? Well, what if we do face it? What if we go where he said? In the place where they tried to bury evil. Dude, that whole sequence was so creepy, and I was really worried that in that moment this game was going to abandon whatever subtlety it had, but it didn't. We still don't exactly have an answer as to whether anything is actually really wrong with this island, and we could honestly take it either way, and the story doesn't have to change. All we know is that we are messed up, and we need to make a decision on how we want to face it. Ultimately, the devil, the evil of this island, it's what we bring with us, the kind of thing that we push aside until the silence forces us to contend with it. So let's contend with it. We can take the shovel and see what it was buried here. One more to join them. I guess facing it was more than we could bear. Let's try surrendering. By the way, I'm recording this third, but the other one is a better place to end it, so let's do this now. Let's finish our task. In this ending in particular, we do our job. Oh. No, we don't. No, we don't. But we'll definitely make our presence known. I think this is enough to put an end to everything. I don't know what got into this developer. The direction, the visuals, and especially the matching of the imagery throughout this is absolutely fantastic. We've come such a long way from random jump scares in subways and graveyards, huh? I mean, say what you want about this. It's certainly flawed, but it's a massive, massive step up from their previous games. So this time, I think we're gonna try going with escaping. Oh, we didn't even make it a couple of days, but then again, our sense of time is distorted. Which is also a nice touch, by the way. I mean, our perception of events is unreliable. That's the whole point of this. That's what makes this psychological horror, and not just horror. Because I feel like the psychological horror tag is so misused these days, but I don't know, lately I've had a good run of games that actually did it well. We are not making it out of here on this thing. No way. Do we need something? Ah, the ore. Years later. No way, we actually made it.
There is something different about today.
April 31st, 1945.
This is Radio London with breaking news. Adolf Hitler is dead. The devil is dead. The devil is dead.
It's like the past has awakened from its slumber, calling me back.
No way. So facing it head on, it seems, was essentially the bad ending.
Yes, you heard right. The devil is dead. Reports state that he died in his bunker as Soviet
It's like it's lulling me. An all too familiar image looms over us, even if it takes a different form.
We have a breaking news from Berlin. It has been confirmed that Adolf Hitler is dead. Yes, you heard right. The devil is dead. Reports state that he died in his bunker as Soviet forces closed in on the city. The Allies
Big swing to have this story element. You! You from the other games! You've appeared in every single one. Are you connected, or are you just passing through? We're just as isolated here as we ever were, aren't we? We did what we did in the first war. We abandoned our post in between. And now here we are, useless and watching another one pass by. This is considered the true ending.
Tonight, the city breathes easier. Tonight, the world breathes easier.
So this feels a more appropriate time to give an outro than before. So I'm going to move some of what I said before over to here. But anyway, that was the Lightkeeper, and that was absolutely fantastic. There's such a deep sense of hopelessness about this one. The idea that ultimately nothing ever changes, that we can't change. It's very dark in that way. That despite our best efforts, we can't leave the past behind, and it won't leave us behind. No matter what we do, no matter how far we remove ourselves from it, even if we try to face it, it's just how we are. It's actually extremely cynical. But it's definitely very different from other horror games I've played, and, well, in its direction, it definitely makes the most of it. We hear the devil is dead, but we know better. The devil can't die because the devil is us. I did not expect to have this level of commentary for a game from this developer. That's what I'm saying here. I like that it held its commitment to being a game about the isolation, about being alone with our thoughts, and how, in that situation, even those who are trying to escape something, especially those who are trying to escape something, will become their own worst enemy. It's happened to others before, and it continues to happen. It's just the nature of the job. Those it attracts are inherently the ones most susceptible. For a walking simulator, the gameplay oddly served it here. The nature of the task that we had to do meant that we were going back and forth a lot, and the environment was set out in such a way where it didn't feel tedious. It never felt like we were just holding Shift W for a really long time. But it gave us those moments where we're not just focused on an objective or doing something or trying to find what we're looking for. Instead, we have time to contemplate our experiences here, time to look around and really appreciate our situation. In other words, it gives this game the time to breathe that it really needed. Because if it was just a constant trigger fest where we're going from one thing to the next, we wouldn't have had time to appreciate the isolation. It's just doing so many things right, and I don't know, maybe I'm more impressed with it because it's from a developer that has previously made games that wouldn't dare to be this slow-paced. I will say, though, that that ending, the Face It ending, didn't really feel like much of an ending. If anything, it felt like an excuse to give us, well, the image from the end of the lighthouse. I do appreciate in some way, though, that it isn't too derivative of the lighthouse. It's definitely utilizing some direction cues. Most of all, I want to praise that last sequence where we got to talk to the old lighthouse keeper. Because in the end, that ghost story, the thing that set our nerves on edge when we arrived, was actually a coping mechanism. At least to some degree. Again, it's unclear if there actually is something working off of us on this island, but that was our out. The reason that encounter was so scary to our character was because we didn't have that excuse anymore. We didn't have that external paranormal force driving us to do these things. In the end, it was all us, and we had to own our guilt. This was a really pleasant surprise, and it's why I always like to give things like this a chance, even in spite of their reputation, because I would have missed out on something actually really incredible had I just seen, oh yeah, they're like reusing assets and using AI and it's just terrible. Because that is really reductive. You may or may not like the use of AI, and you may not be satisfied with their answer. That's a huge black mark, but at the end of the day, they have created something here, and that's worth appreciating. And if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this game out for yourself, the link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.